Hello everyone, and welcome to Cuphead Inkwell L2 playthrough. This video will show you the boss battles, the run and gun levels, the secret path, and coins available in Inkwell L2. Before getting to the actual game, there is a wishing well that tells you how many times you died throughout the game. My number is low because I quit multiple times for recording purposes. It's much higher than the displayed number. In the Carnival Kerfuffle, you'll be fighting against Beppy the Clown. In the first phase, he rides a bumper car that goes from one side to the other side. There are also obstacle cardboard ducks from above that can be shot down. There are three kinds of ducks: normal, one with a light bulb that drops and ignites a fire, and pink ones which can be parried. In the second phase, Beppy becomes a balloon. A lot of things to keep track in this phase. There are 6 hoses where Beppy can inflate dog balloons. The dogs hunt you down, but you can't shoot them down. They wouldn't be so bad if not for the roller coaster coming from the right. Make sure to stay in the middle and avoid the hoses in case a balloon appears. Try to parry the nose of the roller coaster and the pink dogs to gain mobility. In the third phase, Beppy rides a carousel horse. There are 2 types of horses, yellow and green. The yellow horse shoots horseshoes in a singular line and shoots down from above. The green horse shoots horseshoes in a wave-like pattern, which is harder to dodge. Try to parry if you can, but don't take risky movements and avoid potential damage, as the oncoming train may add to the difficulty of dodging the horseshoes. In the fourth phase, Beppy becomes a carousel with swinging platforms that you can jump onto. You have to make use of these platforms since the roller coaster is now too fast to keep track of. After the roller coaster has gone by, Beppy will spit out penguins that spit out baseball projectiles, which are easy to dodge but may be difficult due to the focusing of the changing platforms. Focus on dodging and use shots like roundabout or spread shot to rack up damage. After defeating Beppy, you can go to the open path behind the shack to find a coin. The Funhouse Frazzle is one of my favorite run and gun levels because of its unique mechanic to change the player's gravity. None of the coins in this run and gun level are missable, so take your time as the change in gravity, while fun, can get confusing. After the Funhouse Frazzle, go to where you came from after defeating Beppy. Before progressing to the pyramids, go slightly ahead and talk to the NPC, who will now give you mini bombs you can switch during the aerial combat. These will come in handy in the next fight. In the Pyramid Peril, you'll fight against Jimmy the Great. In the first phase, he summons a chest which contains one of three things. Sword attack is the easiest to dodge. They fly towards you and pivot towards you the second time. In the second phase, Jimmy becomes multiple pillars. All you have to do is shoot the sections with his face to make a path and avoid the saws between the pillars. In the third phase, Jimmy becomes a sarcophagus. In this phase, he will send out mummies and shoot his eyeballs out like a wave-like pattern. In the fourth phase, he will bring out a puppet of Cupman and his turban. His turban will be tracking you down and can also shoot waves of projectiles. The puppet will shoot impossible to dodge bullets, which will split the area, and shoot out slower bullets, which some of them can be parried. In the fifth phase, Jimmy will appear like Hilda on the right of the screen and summon 3 pyramids. When the pyramid's eyes open, they will shoot out laser beams horizontally and vertically. Additionally, Jimmy will fire psychic blasts. Like the previous phase, the biggest challenge will be dodging. Before moving on, the other 2 items from Jimmy's chest are cats and treasure. The cats split like Russian dolls with smaller cats inside that track you. The treasure, in my opinion, is the toughest, as it's harder to dodge all the trinkets that fly towards you. Additionally, Jimmy has a secret phase. After the sarcophagus, while he is reading your mind, if you are in your tiny form, he will create a tiny puppet. Instead of dealing with a bigger puppet, you will now face a smaller puppet, and Jimmy's final phase, similar to the root pack combining the last 2 boss phases together. From experience, I do not recommend doing this. In Sugarland Shimmy, you will be fighting against Baroness Bon Bon Bon. She is a very unique boss, as her first 3 phases consist of mini-bosses. There are a total of 5 mini-bosses available, but you'll only have to deal with 3 of them. The cupcake jumps around the map and splashes frosting, relatively easy to avoid. In the second mini-boss fight, jelly beans start to appear from the left. Some of them can be parried. The waffle flies around and attacks by separating out his body. Keep your distance and attack from afar. In the third mini-boss fight, Baroness Bon Bon may shoot a rifle at you. The gumball machine runs left to the right, near the middle, and spits out gumballs, which are relatively easy to dodge. The last portion of the match is the castle and the Baroness herself. The castle will follow you and spit out a giant candy roll. This is parryable, and if you haven't yet gotten the bouncing ball achievement, this is one of the good times to do them. Additionally, Baroness Bon Bon will throw her head at you, which will follow you for a certain duration. Before moving on, the other 2 mini-bosses that the Baroness can summon are Jawbreaker and Candy Corn. The Jawbreaker has a smaller Jawbreaker following it, hindering your movement slightly. It slowly tracks you down until you kill it. The candy corn moves around the map, producing smaller candy corns, which float to the top. Both are relatively simple with a smoke bomb. In the Funfair Fever, whatever you do not shoot the balloon. Shooting the balloon will cause it to explode and send projectiles towards you, which are harder to dodge. No coins on this level are missable. After completing the Funfair Fever, you can go behind the tent to discover the 4th Acapella singer. Now, you can return to the Acapella members and listen to their song, which is both soothing and insulting.
It's nice to rest your eyes and maybe go outside. Grab a book and get some air. So what are you waiting for? Bum, 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 bum. Why not take a quick break? Tune the radio. There's chores to do, there's leaves to rake. Strum the old banjo. You can practice your Lindy hop. Bum, 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 bum. And maybe later sing with your barbershop. Why not take a little quick break and come back for more? Or then come back for more. Or please come back for more.
Before the next fight, you can take the shortcut behind the mountains, come back and talk to the NPC to get a coin. In the Aviary action, you will fight against Wally Warbles and his son. In the first two phases, 4 birds in a straight line will come from the right. The 4th one will always be parryable, so make sure to get the parries. In the first phase, Wally has 2 attacks, eggs and bullets. He will spit an egg that cracked into 3 and transform his head into a glove and shoot 3 bullets. I recommend staying on the left wall to avoid the eggshells and the bullets. In In the second phase, Wally will flap his wings and attack you with his feathers. The difficulty of this part is dodging the feathers. Again, stay on the left and continue shooting. In the third phase, Wally's son appears with spiked eggs around him. The eggs will rotate counterclockwise and go in and out of the center point, which is Junior. Additionally, Junior can also shoot you with his gun. All his bullets can be parried and are relatively harmless. The eggs are the biggest concern. You will have to pass between the eggs, shoot Junior, and dodge as the eggs come in closer. Be patient in this section. In the fourth phase, Wally is back on a stretcher. The nurses can shoot out a medicine capsule, which breaks apart and fly towards you. Wally has two different attacks. He can spit out his heart, which spits out bullets in your direction. He can transform his head into a garbage can, which spits out random junk, with a boot being parryable. Your mobility will be very limited in this final phase. The Mausoleum in Aisle 2 grants Cuphead or Mugman invincibility for a short time. After the Mausoleum or the Sugarland Shimmy, if you manage to parry 4 times without touching the ground, you can talk to the juggling NPC to gain a coin. Before starting the fiery Frolic, I make sure one of the 2 weapons is a charge shot, as I feel it helps more with the last phase of the boss. In Fire Frolic, you'll be fighting its Grim Matchsticks. The level consists of moving cloud platforms that will move from right to left. In the first phase, Grim has 3 attacks. He can shoot eye beams, with the last one being parryable. He can shoot fireballs from his mouth that move in wave-like patterns. Lastly, he will attack with his tail from below. Be cautious of the tail since it will limit your mobility for a short duration. In In the second phase, Grim moves to the other side of the map and starts to spit out small marching fireballs and fire or smoke up his nose. Some of the fireballs will squat and jump to attack you. You should be able to tell which direction they will jump by their faces. It's a bit hard to tell though. In the third phase, Grim grows out 2 additional heads. He has 2 attacks. The first attack shoots a fireball in a bubble. Do not destroy these as they scatter in 4 different directions after the bubble pops. The second attack is a flamethrower. The middle head transforms into a flamethrower and spits out fire for a short duration. Stay on top to avoid damage and to move to other platforms. Once you beat Grim, you can move on to Inkwell Out 3.
Mr. King Dice, I'm the gamest in the land.